What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the High Ticket Sales University podcast. This is a show for any entrepreneur out there who is currently on the struggle bus and would like to move off of that and onto the profit bus and get things moving. Today's guest, we are talking to Austin Garber, who owns a Green Light Fitness. This is a personal training studio. It's actually a franchise, which is really cool. And we're going to dive into the details on all of that during the show, as well as his experience with sales. This should be a lot of fun. So pay attention. There's going to be some lessons in this one. Austin, buddy, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm doing great. Joe, how are you doing?
I'm so stoked to have this young guy here. I call him the young man because I mean, I've got kids that are like older than him, and then I've got kids that are his age. And it's so amazing. For those of you that don't know who Austin is, he's an entrepreneur. He's a personal trainer that's turned around and he's decided, you know what, I'm going to make a bigger impact in people's lives. He's got a great little story. Really, I know this about you, Austin, about the power of the relationship that you have with your mom, which is super impactful. And, you know, I'm just curious real quick, like as a personal trainer and as a coach, like if you don't mind the why, tell me a little bit about the story about your mom and how that relates to what you're doing now.
So, long story short, my dad left when I was like 6. Never talked to us again. Like here and there around like football season, who would be that guy that dad on the sidelines, like, hey, that's my boy. But never like talk to you outside football season. That's how it kind of went for my whole life, still to this day. So my mom's always been struggle bus, always done everything by herself, always had like this wall up, never asked for help from anybody, even from me, to this day. She never still asked for help to health and fitness till this day. And she knows I own a gym. So she just a super prideful woman, and she should be. It's hard to raise 2 kids by yourself, especially like zero help at all, nothing at all. Working 2 jobs by yourself, no help, paid for everything. Crazy. So I got really lucky to have the opportunity to coach women like that. And it's really, I guess, easy. I want to say easy, but it's fun. I get way more enjoyment out of it because I feel like I'm actually helping my mom, helping these women that I get to train every single day and talk to every day and talk about their struggles, and it almost connects. It's almost like a weird thing like, hey, I know exactly what you're going through because I lived it. I've seen my mom go through it. I still see her go through it to this day. So I have a really awesome opportunity to have a gym filled with, I guess, my mom's.
Oh,
that's great.
That's
man.
Awesome.
I love it. So let's do this because we want everybody to know where you're coming from. In like 15 seconds here, how would you describe what it is that you do as an entrepreneur?
So as an entrepreneur, I got into the gym fitness, I guess, really get better at football to retire my mom. So everything goes back to retire my mom. As we all know, we all have dreams, a lot of concussions. Then I got into training, and it's so like, I think I would definitely notice it's like so fulfilling.
Yeah.
It's like, I think we're up there with like doctors and like nurses, like we're hands-on with people, like really changing their lives. And sometimes they like just break down and cry to you. Like, hey, nobody's ever asked me these questions. Nobody's ever helped me. Nobody's ever, I guess, believed in me. Like, that's so powerful. And I feel like I'm lucky to have the opportunity to talk like that to people.
When you first started, because again, like you've developed this skill to be able to have these conversations with people when you're saying going deep. When you first started on this journey as an entrepreneur, like what are some of the things that, you know, if you look back going, what are the things that I screwed up at and or were fearful when you were trying to have these conversations with these, we'll call them these other moms that you wanted to help in your journey to be of service?
I think the biggest thing is not asking the hard questions. I feel like I have a pretty good personality and people would open up to me, like in general, only be like surface level. Like, hey, I just want to lose weight and all that kind of stuff. But for people to really change and really have that life-changing experience and change their whole identity, you have to ask like real hard questions that are really awkward for you to ask them. You don't want, I feel like I just don't want to hurt them. Like, I don't want to put them in a weird space. Like, I don't want to mess them up. I don't want to bring up like past trauma from bringing this up. It's like hard. It's awkward, but you need to. They need to.
Did you ever find that having these tough conversations where you, like, give me an example of where you went off track because you got to earn the right to ask these questions, right? So you can't just go in and start, as a young man, let alone as any man, start talking to somebody who might be talking, to talk to a woman about how she's feeling when she's bloated, or if she's going through menopause or her menstrual cycle. Suddenly, they're looking at you as a man, let alone as a young guy. They might go like, "What the hell do you know?" Have you ever had an experience like that where it's like, "Oh man, this just blew up and she's out of here"?
Luckily, I haven't yet. I probably will. Nothing yet. Nothing yet.
You won't now. Now we're working on this every single week, man. So yeah, I mean, when you get your live reps in that you've been doing, and we'll get into it too. So you've been coming into our dojo and doing those live interactive training reps with us for sales. And how would you say that has helped you with your confidence as it pertains to like having these sales conversations with these women?
I tell them, every time Joe asks me this question on the sales call, I tell them the exact same thing. They're not paying me to say this. They completely changed my life. Like in the SOS dojo, I think that like my confidence is next level to like go on podcasts and like talk about this and talk about my struggles and talk about my wins, talk about my mom. They gave me the confidence to talk like this because it's so hard. There's like other people that think you're gonna judge you. Okay, well, they're in the same struggle as you, and it's awkward. It's weird. It's hard. It's really, really hard. But then you get in the flow of it, like, damn, okay, I'm pretty good at this. I'm getting pretty comfortable. Then it translates anywhere else, like everywhere else. It's awesome.
I love it.
So you've got a lot more confidence going into these calls now, is what you're saying.
100%. I guess I look forward to them now.
Awesome. Well, I mean, hey, that's
in the beginning. I was like, fuck, I want to. What's the excuse in my head that I want to call out right now and not show up to the calls? But now I look forward to all of them.
Yeah, man, I love the candid nature of it, man. But like, you get to meet somebody new, to understand them, understand what their problems, what their struggles are. That's what I always enjoyed about sales. Is it's kind of people are puzzles, right? And I'm trying to find those last couple puzzle pieces and like honestly help them recognize where those pieces fit in to this puzzle as well. Because oftentimes, like maybe you can mirror this sentiment here, Austin, but you feel like they often don't even know the breadth of their struggle, like what they're actually going through. They're like, I don't know, I just can't lose weight. I don't know what's going on. And then you start picking it apart. You start asking those tougher questions, as you're saying, where it's really hard to ask those questions. And they start to go, whoa, like mind blown. I didn't know this is why this is happening. I didn't know what was going on. Do you find that pretty often?
So I had a consult last night. She came in like super basic stuff. Like, I just want to lose weight, like levels deeper. Yep. Then it went to like, it was her mom when she was 6 that said, you will never be in shape for the rest of your life. And that's why she's not losing weight. It's because of that when she was like 6. And she would never known if we didn't ask those hard questions, right? That happens all the time. Like almost every consult, it's like something from the childhood that one person said to you, it's in the back of your head, and it's not, you can't get over it yet.
Have you ever had anybody look back, like in terms of the transformations that you've already done for people? Have they ever looked back and said to you, this has been incredible, and I'm really glad that you didn't give up on me?
Yeah.
Something to that effect?
I think pretty close to that effect, yeah. Because
give me an example of what that would be. Like if you've had somebody had go through the process with you. Again, it's not about the weight loss. It's more of they've just been working with you and they've experienced a win. Give me an example of a couple of wins or a win that comes to mind.
There's one that really comes to mind. She was a bigger lady, name's Jen. She just like really stressful. She's a nurse, so she like used to like emotionally eat really, really hard when it gets really, really hard in the hospital. Like last week, she just told me, hey, controlled it. Like I didn't go eat a fatty food. And that's like huge. I'm like, that's like next level.
Yeah.
Next level. That's huge. And she's like, I'm actually enjoying this now. I'm having more fun with my kids. I'm okay with actually not wearing baggy clothes. I'm wearing tighter fitting clothes now because I'm not insecure. like all that kind of, it's crazy. It's really like, it sounds like a movie sometimes.
Yeah,
Well, I
you
can
get
see
that.
that you're satisfied with it, right? Like it's
Yeah.
gratifying work.
Yeah.
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 It's awesome to see him transform into this body positivity versus body negativity, or we hear the term body dysmorphia tossed around absolutely all the time. And it's we just, most humans with the extremely high overweight to obesity ratio in the United States, for example, let alone North America and the rest of the world, it's not surprising that most people are affected by this, psychological ordeal where it's like, man, I look terrible. And like, even if they look okay, they look fine. They're just like, I look terrible. I feel terrible. Right. We have this negative relationship with our bodies. So you're taking people on that journey where they're learning to love themselves, they're learning to, find themselves. And of course, maybe they change and they make themselves healthier along the way, which is obviously a good thing. But it all comes back to that root psychological cause of, man, I hate myself, right? And I think so many people go through that. And when you say people go to tears sometimes during your conversations, that's why, is like they're starting to think about that and think about what other people have said in their lives and the mean things that other kids when they were in school, or even their parents, as you just mentioned. Like there's so much that goes into it. So I love hearing the stories that come out through these sales conversations. And let me ask you this. I want to kind of like flip the script a little bit, right? I want you to think about, we just talked about all this positive stuff. Have you had a scenario that you're comfortable with sharing where you've had a sales call go absolutely wrong, the opposite direction? It didn't work out.
It happens to all of us.
Yeah, we've all been there. This is part of the
For
fun
sure.
of this show, is we want to share those failures, those missteps, all of that. So can you think of a scenario right now off the top of your head?
I can think of quite a few, like people just completely ghosting me or
Yeah.
hanging up on the call,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
not talking to me. One that really comes up to me is like a weird one. Like we got in really, really deep. She said no to the price. Like a few minutes like later, she's like, made me realize I need a therapist. I don't need a workout trainer. Well, I was like, but then they called. She's like, I've been working as a therapist for like 3 years. I was like, well, you seen any difference? She says no. So it was just kind of like an excuse that she needed
Right.
more therapists, but she didn't. The therapist isn't working right now.
I don't need to work out. I need a therapist.
You know what's crazy? Again, like Austin, you're 23.
Yeah.
I remember at 23, this is how green I was. I remember at 23 being in my exercise equipment retail store, dealing with a couple, and a woman came in, and again, this is embarrassing. I'm so embarrassed about saying the truth. I looked at her and I said, "When are you due?" You guys already know where this is going.
Wow.
She goes, "I'm not pregnant." And I literally melted. I melted, and I just looked at somebody else and I just said, "Take over." Like I was like, it was done.
Yeah.
Like, so I made the assumption. It was so embarrassing. As I'm telling you guys this story, I'm embarrassed to tell it. Again,
Yep.
This is like, over 30, like it's almost 30 years ago. And I asked this woman, because she just had this air about her, and she had, I swear to God, the basketball look. So I just made the assumption. Ever since that day, I swear to God, I don't ask. He could very well be full blown baby carriage shopping. I'd be like, mm-hmm.
That's like
I'm
a
not
number
asking.
one rule, man. That is the rule. You never ask that, because even if they are expecting, they don't want to talk about it to a complete stranger.
Dude, the part of the idea of these conversations that we're having on this show is to open up and be vulnerable. I'll tell you, I've made so many mistakes.
Yeah.
And this is where, again, the whole purpose is, if I can help people that are listening or people that are in our program to learn from those mistakes so that you can time collapse it and you don't have to worry about it and you just get results. That's why we're here. Like,
and a message.
Don't do what I did there.
A message to everyone out there: please don't go up and like rub a pregnant woman's belly. Nobody freaking wants that, dude.
Can I rub the Buddha? Can I rub the Buddha?
No, it's the absolute worst. So, all right, I think that's good. I'll add in, since we're all talking about failures. Here's my favorite one. Well, I just think it pertains to this topic. pick. There are many favorites, of course. So Austin, don't feel bad when you were like, oh man, I can think of many. Like, so can I, so can Joe. We've all screwed up, man. So I had a lady come in and she drove a Ford F-150 Raptor. And if you guys know what the F-150 Raptor is, it's a very expensive pickup truck. Yeah. It's awesome. It's like $86,000 base. Yeah. So yeah, she's driving this very expensive truck. I know what it is. So I'm like, all right, this lady's got money. Because I was at the point where I'm like, oh, if I'm going to make a sale, they got money. That's an easy sale. Done deal. So we go through the process, ask her all the questions. I think I'm doing a good job. She seems to be opening up. At the end, she says no to the price. I go through the whole process where she's saying I can't afford it. And then we handle the objections, blah, blah, blah. We go back and forth. I try to come up with a solution. And then she switches it and she says, you know what? I would, but I don't even have my card on me. I left it at home. And I always jokingly use this line. I was like, you drove here without your driver's license? And then they'd be like, no, I have my driver's license. I was like, you have a driver's license, but you don't have your wallet? That's crazy. And like, in that tone, I'm like joking with them because I'm calling them on their bullshit and they know it's bullshit and they know I know now. And then she's like, well, and I'm like, are you sure it's not in your truck? And she says, oh, it might be in my truck. She walks out to her truck and the next thing I hear is peeling out tires.
Drive
she
away.
just drives away. And I was like, well, I knew that was going to happen. And then I just went about my day. You get to that stalling point sometimes with frustration where you're like, listen, I'm not going to make this sale. We're wasting each other's time. Like, how do we end this? And I was like, I bet. The funny thing is I knew she was going to do that. I was like, I bet if she goes out to that truck, she leaves. And she left. And as she was walking to her truck, I told one of my trainers, I was like, hey, watch this. It's going to peel out. And she freaking did. And I was like, I can't believe I called that. So yeah, sometimes it happens, right? We tell people this all the time. Nobody closes 100%. Nobody does. And if anybody currently out there is listening, they're like, oh, I close 100%. I'm the best salesperson ever. I'll tell you this. If you're closing 100%, your prices are too low. Change your prices. Raise your rates. Because you shouldn't be closing 100%. Closing 100% is kind of a litmus test for business where if I'm closing 100% of the sales, I'm doing something wrong. I'm not charging enough. I don't have a premium enough offering, and you need to change that up. The goal, the actual 100%, is actually 80%. 80. If you close at 80%, you're awesome. Like, things are going great. Do whatever you're doing. Continue doing that, right? Yep. And if you're below 80%, that means you need sales training. Like, you need to improve it. The other thing that might be happening is maybe there's a market fit issue as well. But mostly, it's just sales training. Like, just get better, right? Get better at this. So, Austin, like, on that note, maybe if we can think about your early sales calls to now, like, what is the difference that you're seeing just by focusing on your communication, like going beyond just the words you say to the tonality that you're using, to your body language, to your conviction and confidence? Like, what's changed for you over, say, the past, how long you've been with us? 4 months?
I think so.
4 months. Okay. So in the last 4 months, like, what's changed for you the most?
I think just completely everything in the mindset. Something that Joe said, he says, I think it was, I might be butchering this, Joe.
No worries.
I think it was you have to, I think the deserve quote you told me, Joe. I forgot how it went.
Joe, you want to fill him in on it?
Yes. I want him. It's okay. You're on the struggle bus. You could figure it out. Man.
You're going to the profit bus, bro. Come on.
Yeah, make it happen. You could paraphrase. Just what was the basis of it?
It's like you kind of have to deserve what's the money to earn.
That's right.
Deserve to earn.
Right. So because we're there to serve, the word serve is in the word deserve. And so because you're being of service to people, you're deserving of getting paid. Mm-hmm. So if we're going into creating these conversations, instead of I'm trying to sell somebody, I'm going in, I want to just serve this person. And when they go, hey, you know what? I'm not having a sales conversation. I'm having a buying conversation. So now I want to buy from you. Good. I'm glad that you're buying from me because I deserve what I'm getting paid, which should be high ticket. And now I'm going to be of service to you and you're going to get phenomenal results. Yeah. So, I mean, and you've earned the right to get to that point, Austin. I mean, when you first started, right, it was clunky and it was challenging. And all of a sudden it's gets smoother and it gets smoother and with more polish and more polish. And you've now been able to go up our ascension model, the ladder of belt color, just like in a as a martial artist would. You were a white belt, now you're a yellow belt, then you're an orange belt, now you're a green belt. You're already working towards your blue belt. You're going to get to black belt really fast. And what does that do? You're going to be able to, I think of at 23, where you are now in your enterprise, just imagine by like just a very short period of time, as you bring on more team members, you're going to be able to teach them this skill set that you will have for a lifetime.
Love it. Go ahead, Austin.
I think the biggest thing that, I guess, going into the call, so what I do now, like first 10 minutes, I walk around my house and say, I'm here to help. I'm here to help. I'm here to help. I'm here to help. Like for like 10 minutes straight. Because at first I would go into it like, I need to make the sale. I need to make money. I need to pay the bills. But I think I got this from Alex Hormozi, and he said, whoever cares the most is going to win the sale. That's my mindset going into it. Hey, if you don't buy with me, I'm okay. If you do, I love it. Either way, I'm fine. Having that mindset going in. I wasn't that mindset younger, like a year ago or 4 months ago. Definitely wasn't at all.
Yeah, it changes everything when you think that way. Because, I mean, number one, it takes the pressure off of you, right? So we all put a lot of pressure on ourselves already. It's undue pressure, too. And we'll go into that sales appointment thing and like, I got to make the sale. And the problem is that like it seeps out of your pores and people can smell it on you a mile away. All of a sudden, they're like, this guy's just looking for a sale. This guy just wants to make a sale. Versus if you go in with what you're saying, that intention of helping, and whether or not they work with you, as long as they find a solution and you provide clarity through that call, you're happy, they're happy. It changes everything. And people can also smell how much you care, right? Yeah. So they're like, okay, this guy cares. This guy actually wants to know more about me. And you're no longer like that other gym bro at the place down the street that's like, yo, you want to lose 20 pounds? I got you, right? You just need this plan. Here you go. Like, I don't care about anything else. I don't care about why you want to lose 20 pounds. I don't care why you came up with 20 pounds. I just want to, train you and get the sale. That's how that goes. Or worse, the gym walkthrough was always my favorite. They're like, oh yeah, welcome to the gym. So here's the plate selectorized equipment over here. Here's your free weights. Here's your treadmill, cardio deck, and you can walk and watch Grey's Anatomy. There you go. Yeah. So yeah, it's nonsense, but yeah, this has been great, man. We're gonna close out the show because it's supposed to be a shorter show here, but we really appreciate you coming on, and
we'll have you back, man.
Yes, thank you.
I want to hear more stories. Of course, hopefully more positive stories than negatives start coming out in the future. I love watching your transformation though, bro. Like you've made a lot of progress, and awesome. Joe and I, Papa Joe is very proud of you. I'm also very proud of you.
Truly, man. Your mom's got to be super proud. Like, honest to God, if, yeah, I can't wait to get the opportunity to meet your mom, let alone the fact that I'm coming to Chico. I'm telling you, man, I'm super stoked for you.
There we go. Awesome. Love it, man. So yeah, thank you so much for being on, brother. And thank you to everyone listening, everybody watching over on YouTube. Tune in every week. We got a guest on every single week, and we'll be diving in and sharing their experiences with you. There's a lot of learning that comes out of that, and you might even recognize some stories. Maybe something Austin said today stood out to you like, oh, that happened to me yesterday. This always happens to all of us, but we got to learn and grow from it. That's what it's all about. If you guys want to learn about how to learn and grow from that, join our mailing list, and you can also join our free Facebook group. Go to Facebook and search groups for the Sales Objection System Dojo, or click the links in our description below. And by the way, we'll be dropping an available copy of all the scripts that we use very soon. So stay tuned for that. We'll have more details on it soon. And thanks for watching and listening. See ya. Chaz, take us out.